Lead Through Teaching Video.
The lead-through should be a fun activity for your audience as they help you, the storyteller, retell the Bible story. At the same time, you will be able to stress accuracy by graciously restating the correct wording when the participants make errors. This is not a test. The goal is first and foremost to have fun. And second, it is for the group to learn the story even as they help to retell it. Now let's watch a good example of a lead-through. Look for the way that I give the audience clues to help them remember the story when I pause. And also note that making obvious errors for the audience to correct adds humor to this time of the review. We will be using the jars of oil story, which is in 2 Kings chapter 1, verses 1 through 7. Great. All right, now we're going to tell the story a third time, but we're going to do it differently. This time I'm going to start, and I want your help. If I pause, tell me the word or phrase that comes next. And then if I happen to make a mistake, you must catch me and say no and correct me, all right? Okay, great. So there was a woman who was a wife of one of the students of the prophets. And she cried out to Elisha and said, "Your servant, my
husband
is
dead."
And you know that he feared
The Lord.
And now the
Creditors.
has come to take my
Sons.
as
Slaves.
So Elisha said, "What do you want me to
Do for you.
tell me? What do you have in the
House.
And she said, "I have nothing but a..."
Jar of oil.
Small jar of oil.
So Elisha said, "Well, that's not enough to pay your debts."
No.
That's not what he said.
No.
What did he say?
Go collect jars and many of them.
From your
Yes,
neighbors.
go collect,
Neighbors.
borrow jars from your neighbor. Just one or two?
No,
not
a
many.
lot.
Many jars.
lot.
Oh, empty jars.
Empty
Yeah.
jars. Empty jars.
And then
Going
Close
to
close the
Doors
door
behind
behind you and your,
Two sons.
sons.
and pour
The oil
Into
into
the
an
empty
empty
jar.
jar and set it
And
Set
aside.
them aside.
what is full. So the woman did this. She
Close the doors behind her.
and her
Two
Two
sons.
sons.
sons, and the sons began bringing her,
The jars. Empty jars.
and she,
Pouring the oil
oil.
into the empty jars.
and when they were full,
Set them aside.
and when all the jars were full, she said to her son, "Bring me."
one more jar.
But he said,
No
There aren't any
empty
more
jars.
and the oil.
Stopped.
So then the woman said, "This is great, boys. Let's go to sell the oil."
No.
That's not what she did?
No.
What did she do?
She went to Elijah.
She went back to
Tell
Elijah.
him.
Tell him what happened. And he said,
Go sell the oil.
and
Pay your
Pay your
creditors.
creditors.
you and your sons can live on.
The
The
rest.
rest.
You guys know the whole story. Excellent. Thank you very much. Now we are going to look at another lead through done by Jim. This is taken from the one leper story in Mark chapter 1, verses 35 through 45. The first tip is to give clear instructions. Ask your audience to join you by helping you to retell the story. Let's listen to Jim's instructions.
Now, I'm going to tell the story to you the third time, but I'm going to ask you for your help. I'll say part of the story, and then I'll pause, and I'd like you to fill in the missing word or phrase. But you're going to have to watch me because sometimes I make mistakes. If you catch me in a mistake, I want you to go, no, that's not right, and tell me what's supposed to go there, okay?
The lead-through is reviewing the story with pauses so your audience can participate in this retelling. Your audience will always be successful if you give clues about the place in the story where you are pausing. Let's watch and see how Jim does this.
Early in the morning, while it was still dark, Jesus got up and went to a lonely place to
Pray.
But Simon and his companions went
Looking
for
for
Jesus.
Jesus.
good for Jesus.
Now, a great way to add humor to the review is to make an obvious error or an extreme statement for the audience to correct. Everyone enjoys correcting the storyteller. And here's a secret. Making errors is also a subtle way to emphasize a particular part of the story that you want your audience to think about. Let's watch how Jim does this.
And when they found him, they said, everyone
Looking for you.
is looking for you. But Jesus said, tough.
No.
No. He said, let's go someplace else. Let's go to the towns nearby so that I can preach. Because it sounds like it'd be fun.
No, that's why I came. That's what I came.
Thank
What I
you,
came to
because
do.
that is why I have come. And Jesus went to all the synagogues in Galilee, preaching and casting out.
Demons.
Now, a leper came up to him and falling on his
Knees.
he begged him, if you are willing, you can make me.
Clean.
And Jesus was filled with compassion. And he reached out and he touched the man. And he said, there's some good doctors in Jerusalem. I know it.
No.
No. Yeah, he said, I am willing. Be clean.
The lead-through should be just as accurate as the original storytelling. If several people are answering at the same time and in different ways, you may need to restate the correct wording, or if someone answers incorrectly. But whenever you restate something, be sure to say something positive like good or that's right. Let's look at an example of how Jim emphasizes accuracy by restating the story. And note the encouraging words that he uses.
And immediately the leprosy left the man and he was.
Clean.
Now Jesus sent him away immediately, sternly warning him, see that you talk to the disciples.
No.
So you could.
Don't tell anybody.
He said, tell no one about this. Very good.
So let's review the 3 characteristics of a good lead-through. It is an accurate retelling. We use pauses with good clues so our audience finds it easy to say what comes next. And we occasionally make obvious errors for the participants to correct. Let's see how Jim finishes the lead-through for the one leper story.
But go show yourself to the
Priest.
and make the offering that Moses commanded as a offering for your cleansing, as a testimony to them. But the man instead went and told
Everyone.
everywhere. So much so that Jesus could no longer enter a city by himself. Good, openly.
Openly.
Yes. Instead, he had to stay out in the.
Lonely places.
Even so, people came to him from.
All around.
Very good. Good job. Thank you.
Remember, the lead-through is not a test. We don't pause at difficult names of people or places. The lead-through should be fun for both you and your audience. Avoid discouraging words like no or but. by always responding positively, even when the participant answers incorrectly. This will not only make the lead-through enjoyable for everyone, but it will show your audience that you are easy to please and fun to work with. You can see 2 more good examples of the lead-through by viewing the large group oral Bible study model and the Learn Well and Tell model.